In this video, we want to go ahead and start working on the magnified optic. Now, this is going to be a two-parter, and the reason I say that is because the first part is going to be us actually correcting this mesh to allow for it to have a reticle. So, oftentimes you'll either, get one that is working correctly, such as if you buy it directly from Fab, where it's kind of set up to actually be used as a, magnified optic, but this one does not. So, here you can see we have a material for the body and a material for the front and rear glass. We don't have any spot for the actual reticle itself, so we're going to make a plane that goes right in front of the lens here. Now there is another way you can do that, or, you know, quote unquote, fix it without actually, fixing it in other software, and that is to create a cylinder. So basically inside your optic blueprint, you add a static mesh component, you make it a cylinder, and you just size it and scale it how you want to be, or how you want, and have it just, wherever you want it to see through, so to speak. And then you make that cylinder essentially your optic. That's kind of all you do. So, but we want to fix this, more properly. So I exported this mesh out, and inside of Blender, we can go ahead and import it. So let me turn on screencast. There we go. Okay. So with that imported, let's go ahead and select the collision. Just press H to hide it. And here we have the optic. Now we want to go to the materials. Right, that locked it up for a second. And here you can see we have those two materials, the one for the body and the one for the lens. So what we want to do is we want to basically just add right in front of this lens here, so like somewhere, say in here, a round plane. So we're going to Shift A and add a cylinder. But before we do that, we want to get the resolution correct. So we want it to be kind of a 1-to-1 of, well, this lens. So I'm going to select the body, hit select, and press H to hide. Then select the front glass here, and again, hide it, because I want it to have, the same amount of, or be able to more easily count the points here. That's the wrong direction. So to begin, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So given that, we know that there's going to be 20 points. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yep. So we can Shift A, add a cylinder, and set the vertices to 20. And now we have it. So now we just need to basically position it, scale it, all that stuff how we need. So let's go ahead and move it to the top, rotate it. Actually, because we're not in object mode, we're just going to simply rotate it. Then go back into that front view. Go ahead and wireframe mode just so we can see easier, and scale it, way down. Okay, so we don't necessarily want a cylinder. Instead, we want to only just have one of these faces. So we can select an entire group of faces, delete the vertices, and that's all we needed to do. So from the side view, we're going to select our reticle. So select the whole thing. And we want to move it to be right in front of here. So we're going to press G. We need to go to vertex snapping. We're going to press G, then X. So we only move it on the X axis, and then hold down Control on this vertice. As you can see, it put it on the X axis right to it. So I'm going to go just a hair in front, like so. Then from the front view, go ahead and just move it on up. And I want to make it ever so slightly larger than the lens itself. So something, kind of like that, just so it's a little bit bigger. And then I want to get it square on the Y and the Z. So on the Z, we're going to press G, then Z, so it only moves up. And same thing, we're going to Control and move our mouse to this vertice here, so it goes along this line, like so. And then we should be good on the Y, but just in case, G, Y. And again, snap it. That's all you really need to do. Now we want to check the face orientation really quick. So turn that on. And we want to see blue, which we do. So red is essentially you're looking through it. You see nothing. Blue means, it's blocking is a way to think of it. So it's facing the correct way. Okay. Now we want to select the reticle material again, or sorry, the reticle plane, add a new material, and we're going to call it M underscore scope underscore 25 by 56 to match the naming underscore reticle, and just hit assign. Now we need to unwrap it. So let's go to UV editing. And let's actually go ahead and just select the lens, hide that as well. So we have just the the reticle plane here. So press U and unwrap. Now we also want to triangulate this just because the engine, when we import, is going to do it for us. But just so we have more control to make sure it does it correctly, we're going to press F3 and hit poke faces. And I'm not sure if you're able to notice, but there's one. This is kind of like the last step beside exporting. We need to get the, let me turn that on. We need to get the rotations right. So currently up on this is kind of down and to the right in the UVs. So if we exported it like this, what would happen, and I've actually seen this in other assets where they have the X axis flipped and then they correct it in the material rather than correcting the actual mesh itself that they're selling. So sometimes you get this issue to where right is left, left is right, like it looks flipped basically. But we need to get up to be up on the UV. So we need this point right here to be up here. So we're going to select everything on the UV and rotate it like so. And we're pretty close. So again, we're just going to press select all, and we need to get it to this point here. We're going to scale it down some. And just get it right on that line because it's at a point where no one's going to realistically notice. But as you can see, up is up, right is right, down is down, left is left, blah, blah, blah. So we have that done. Can unhide. And if we go into wireframe, we had the reticle, we hit select. We can see that it is selecting our plane. So we are good to go. Now we just unhide the collision, select all, and we're going to export this out. And I do have a preset, and basically it's selected objects, armature and mesh. Let's see. Then for geometry, smoothing is going to be face, and nothing else. So I'm just going to name this one to corrected and export it out. So now what I want to do is right click on the mesh, re-import with a new file, and select the corrected one. And as you can see here, we have another material for the reticle. So we hit highlight, and there we go. So currently it's the grid and it's blocking it, but that's plenty okay. So that is actually literally all. So we just wanted to add a plane here, and that'd be it. So in the next video, we're going to go ahead and set up the actual blueprint for this to where we have, the functionality of a magnified optic. So I will see you then.